I would have slept at home and not gone out at all, feeling lazy. कल कर लेंगे, परसों कर लेंगे, ऐसे चला देते है ना. So this is something which people don't know. The tattvas of the house, they matter. Now, southeast bedroom, southeast is the place of Agni. So suppose somebody has a southeast bedroom. Lot of Bengalis, they like to have the winds of the south, Dokshine Batas. So they take a southeast bedroom. Now, southeast bedroom will separate the couple because it's a volatile place. Southeast is a volatile place. It will separate, there is a lot of fight. It will separate the couple either by acrimony, that means fighting, disagreements, or by default, husband is at Bombay, wife is posted at Calcutta. So by default, they are separated, or by death. So that is what we want to avoid. Very, very peculiar thing. When I had gone to Guwahati for my friend's daughter's marriage, so one of my friend's sisters, she came to me, she came and told me, my mother told me to meet you. I said, why, what happened? No, I have a lot of trouble. I said, what is the trouble? You look perfectly okay, you're a pretty lady, what's your problem? No, I have lots of, problems. So I said, draw your house. So in the marriage house, we took a sort of a napkin, she drew her house, and when it came to the bedroom, it was a southeast bedroom. He said, you are sleeping here? Well, yes. So he said, why? I said, then you must be fighting with your wife, husband, like cats and dogs. He said, wait, let me call my husband. She called him. See what he's saying? You're fighting like cats and dogs. Well, yes, we do. So I said, you change that room. He said, come tomorrow to my house, early morning. So I went. I moved them to the other bedroom, not the southeast. Their fighting stopped. Due to their fighting, their son had become sort of a recluse, and he was destructive. He used to break things. He used to make all the mirrors used to break. Everything used to break. So they had, both are doctors, perfectly educated and all that. But this is their problem. So they had employed two bodyguards to look after him all through when they were not there. 30,000 rupees they used to spend on guarding that child. He was in class 10. He stopped studying. Then after I moved the room and I did something in their house, that boy revived his studies. He became a graduate. And these two are still married. This is almost 10 years. This is at the beginning of my career when one of the marriages I attended. So changing lives is what I consider. It is not, a monetary transaction. It is not that I want so much money and I'll do this for you. No. It is, you call me, I will see what is the problem. I will tackle the problem and I'll tell these are the expenses which are needed for increasing the prana or doing this. They will do, and this is my fees. So it is not a transactional thing. So somebody who's been blessed with a child after 11 years, if I say you pay me 5 lakhs, he might pay me. But I don't charge him anything like that. Even an IVF costs 1.5 lakh rupees. And they don't guarantee that the child will be born. You might be impregnated, but the child might not be born. Okay. So after what we do, the child is born, and because what is the problem? They are sleeping in a pranheen jaga. It's a dead zone. So no life can germinate in a dead zone. So if you move the place or you change the dead zone into a pranavanta jaga, means which has having life or life-giving energy, then that fetus is saved. Then that child is born. So these doctors also don't realize, what is this thing. It is very peculiar, and there's no medicine for this, or we don't even touch that person whom we are working with. Okay. So we have lots of peculiar cases. It's not that only human beings are affected. I have a very peculiar example which you might relate to, because you all make very big machines or robots. So if a robot is put on the wrong zone, on a dead zone, it will not operate to its full capacity. That means it will give problems which are not diagnosable. Even the sensor is okay, it won't come to the homing position. So I can tell you what happened. One of my friend, he collaborated with a foreign company, and they are into the business of making some stainless steel fabrications meant for dairy products. So they have laser cutting and welding machines. So each machine, they gave two machines, each machine costing 6 crores. So one machine worked from day one, the second one never worked. So the foreigners said, you Indians can't make it work, we'll come and make it work. So they came with all the paraphernalia, with all the spares, and they tried heart and soul. The machine would not work. It never worked. So after 15 days, they got fed up of our water and air, and they got an excuse. So they went back. He said, no, we'll come next time and do it. So that machine was lying there idle for almost 3 years when I went to the factory. And then I found that it was on a nodal point of a geopathic stress zone. I will tell you what a geopathic stress zone later on. So I told the electronics engineer there that this is installed in a wrong place. That machine weighs a lot of tons. So, moving it is something out of question. And even the factory could not move, it is layout is like that. So we put one geopathic stress nullifier in the panel of the machine. And I told them, like, you clean this machine up because it has never worked for 4 years. It will have a lot of dust. And then switch on the button, it will work. So the guy laughed at me. He said, are you mad, Mr. Rao? We tried everything. Nothing ever worked. So I told that engineer, boss, I know little bit of electronics, not as much as you do. Can you surely detect a dry solder? You can detect a wrong component or a section which is not working. You can put a signal and trace it with an oscilloscope and find where your signal is interrupted. Can you guarantee to detect a dry solder? He said, no, Mr. Rao. I said, this is such a fault. You listen to me. So next day, he cleaned the machine up of all the dust and they put the button on and it worked. It's still working. And the laser, which is capable of cutting half-inch of stainless steel like water, or even join half-inch of stainless steel, is working beyond its age. It has got a lifetime of around 30,000, effective lifetime of about 30,000 hours. Now it is well past that. It is work for more than 40,000 hours and still working as if new. So even they are amazed at what. So the collaborators, they asked them, what did you do? We could not make it work. So they told him that's an Indian trick which you guys won't know. Since you were giving us all this, bunk about we Indians don't know. So let that remain a secret, So this is a sort of ace up their sleeve. Till this day, the people from Holland, they ask, hey, what did you do to that machine? So the reply is the standard reply that we Indians made it work. We won't tell you the secret. So this is one very standout example of a machine. See, man, it's get affected by geopathic stress. It's got a certain effect. But a machine being, cured of the stress also works stress free. So on installation, if we can make the place stress free, the whatever machines, they will work better or faster. It's just like putting oil in your, so that the wheels don't get clogged or the gears don't get clogged. So another, I can say, there are other example of very peculiar example. I have a brother in Dwarka who's an atheist, total atheist. He's now almost 70. So he doesn't believe in Vastu. So he finds out I go regularly to Delhi and because it's near to the airport, I'll stay over either while going or coming. So one day his wife said, why don't you do Vastu at my place? So my brother was, what Vastu? There's no God, no nothing, there's no Vastu. I said, okay, don't worry. He said, I've got one problem. I said, tell me. And he's on the fifth floor. So, there's one cat which comes and every day shits in front of my house. So for me, I have to clean that shit almost every second day. So I said, okay. I will actually, cats use the geopathic stress to navigate. Cat is an indication of a bad energy. but it is not itself the bad thing. It is an indication. Okay. So I said I will put this yantram, and God willing, the cat won't come here. So after installation, after a week, I said, what happened? Well, no cat is coming. So today it's almost 8 years. Whenever he sees me, he says, I don't clean cat shit anymore. Hmm? So that's his oblique way of giving me a compliment that, I've avoided that by de-stressing his house. Now, let me explain to you what is the simplest explanation of geopathic stress. We all know the earth is spinning on its axis. So when it spins, all the liquids and semi-solids are also spinning along with the earth. So they produce a negative energy, which is a spiraling energy, which is manifested in two directions at right angles to each other. Let's assume it is north-south and east-west. So each place, the amount of stress we can, with my instrument, we've got an instrument. I don't know whether I can show. Can you see this instrument? It looks like a bit of a gun. You see, it's moving. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
You could see, sir. We could see.
Yeah. Now, this also has something called a reference. This is what the reference looks like. It's like a small bottle.
Okay.
So uh, this got a hole. This has got a hole. So we insert this inside that. So when I'm looking for a particular energy, I'll change this for reference. So it is like when we are putting a different crystal, the frequency in your circuit changes. So it's like that. So we are changing the thing and looking for different energies with this instrument. Okay, this is known as a universal scanner. Okay, this was invented by one gentleman called Mannem Murthy, Dr. Mannem Murthy in Hyderabad, and he is a ex-nuclear scientist. But the funda is a bit simplistic. It is not really whether he's a nuclear scientist or not, but the funda is it works. You see, it's got a bearing kind of a thing. It moves around. Okay, so even if I look for something, it will sort of give me a sort of a test. And there are two such things. Can you see like this? There are two such things. Okay.
Okay.
So now, if I am looking for, say, a spirit, then I'll have to change this thing and put a spirit reference. And if I say seek, it will go and show me where the spirit. It on its own, it will sort of turn and take me to the place where of its existence. So, in paranormal activity, they use these kind of instruments. Some are different colored also to detect. Now, a lot of people know the detection. I know the nullification also. Suppose you have a spirit, we can nullify. Say spirit is got, even geopathic stress is got a say value of say 2 kg negative. So how do I, because we can't stop the earth from spinning. So what we do, we put a positive balance the other side, which is 4 kg positive. So this negative goes totally nullified and overridden. You understand? How we tackle is we try to say you need it, you've got say 2 volts, say volts, and you put 4 volts positive, so it will become 2 volts positive, isn't it? 2 volts negative gets nullified, right? So
Yes, sir.
so since power always travels from higher potential to lower potential, it cannot climb up back. Okay, this
Yes.
is one of the cardinal rules. So we are doing what we are doing when we approach a house. We will check in the middle. Brahmasthana is where our life starts with our mother. Also, it is in the Nabhi Sthan. It is in the center of the house. Okay, and center of the house is not just exact point like a diagonal. It is 1/3 of your length and 1/3 of your breadth. Okay, this is a size of the Brahmasthana of any, say, if your house is say 30 feet by 20 feet, then your Brahmasthana is 10 feet by 6 and 6.7 something feet, right? Like that. Okay. So there we will know if I'm getting 10% energy, 20% energy. When I leave the house, it should show me 200% energy. Okay. So by inserting all whatever we do, right? So this is one way of positive wave. This is not what you would call a positive feedback. You also have a negative feedback, you have a positive feedback. So we take the positive feedback and work around the positivity, right? If I take a negative feedback, in sometimes an astrologer uses a particular stone, he uses the enemy of the planet which is giving you trouble, he will sort of exalt that. So that's a negative feedback. And what we use is a positive feedback. Find out how much prana, insert something which will generate the prana, and equalize it to a level wherein even if you make a mistake, the prana will never go to zero. It will still be above 100%. Okay? And we overcompensate. Okay. But we also don't give, suppose you need 3 instruments to correct a house. We don't give 6. Why? Because excessive medicine is also not good for you. Suppose you need 200 milligram, we don't give 600 milligram. That 400 milligram extra will also sort of be counterproductive. Okay, we need something to be in equilibrium. So we will try to bring it to equilibrium and sort of compensate it. Okay, so up till now, any questions?
No, sir. We are writing down. We'll at the end of the session we'll ask some questions.
Okay. Mani, you're okay with what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Also,
Yes, sir.
I went to one doctor, sort of he's a geologist. He's a top geologist who's a specialist in seismic studies. He's traveled the world, and after I went to his house, after I did his house, he said, I have this peculiar problem. I said, what? There's some cat comes. I said, it shits. Well, yes, in my veranda. So after I do the job, it will stop coming. So after I did the job for 4 days, he gave me WhatsApps like it's still there, it's still coming. I said it's coming out of habit. Once it loses the thread of habit, it will stop coming. So it is about 15-20 days now. He writes it is not coming anymore, and I don't have to clean shit anymore. It's a very very peculiar thing. People don't money. These are the smaller things, but the bigger things are very, I should say, there's another example wherein I didn't correct anything, I did not insert anything, but the life changed. Okay, so this story maybe you can gauge what is happening. So this one of my associates, he went to Jaipur to his friend's house. Both are metallurgists and they worked in the same company for a long time, so they knew each other quite well, and from engineering background. So he said, what happened to this man? He's joined as soon as he entered this house, he lost his job within 7 days. Then after within 3 months, he lost both his parents. Then now whatever he touches, turns into mud. Nothing is succeeding. Whatever business he tries, job he's not getting. And so his brother-in-law, poor fellow, he has to pay the EMI because his, GAG is in a bad trouble. So the brother-in-law used to pay the EMI. So he said, can you do anything? That's the boss, I have to go to Jaipur. So I said, at the least you can do is send me his drawings. So he sent me a drawing of a 3-bedroom flat. It had 3 bathrooms, one in the northeast, one in the center, one in the northwest. So how important I'm telling you. So I said, first thing, you remove the pot out of the northeast toilet. Remove it and throw it. And the other 2, the middle ones, you put copper, sort of a copper Lakshman Rekha, copper wire, thick ones in front of the door frame. So he did a very good job. He put the copper wires in those door frames, and that shit pot he removed from his northeast. Within 7 days, he got his job back, a different, better job. And then one day, while going into his job, he took one day, 3 days, he took his, scooty. Why? Because his daughter was also an architect, and she was going to office where the road got dug up. So she said, I might fall if I take a scooter, so let me take the car. So his Malik asked him, why are you coming in a scooty this 15 kilometers? It's a dangerous thing in the highway. तो ऐसे है मेरा ऐसा है. बोले तू एक काम कर, तू नया गाड़ी खरीद ले, EMI हम लग देंगे. You just take the money, pay the check, we will pay your EMI. So he bought a new car. So within, I should say, 1 month of that correction, he got his job back. He got a new car. And by the time I went to Jaipur after 2, 3 months, he was all happy. I mean, he was only there. He said, you know, my next door neighbor wants to get her job done. Please do her job. She's also up shit creek. So I generated a customer without even, asking for it. And he was so happy to host me because his life had changed 360 degrees. You know, he never thought that such a thing could happen by doing so little. ऐसा तो कोई होता नहीं है. Even we had a flat where we could not stay for 34 years. We had bought it 34 years back, my mother. Same northeast toilet. My mother had willed it to us, to my sons. So after it came to my sons, then the first thing I did is remove that shit pot. It is in the northeast extended portion. After that, within within 3 months of that, I changed the Vastu. I went to that house to stay over for the weekend, and the lockdown happened. And 9 months continuously, I stayed in that house where I could not set foot in that house for 34 years. 34 years is not a small, a time. So, Vastu can change, very suddenly, or maybe sometimes slowly, right? So, these are very, very peculiar things. Also, there's one factor which everybody thinks that, it doesn't exist because we can't see. There are spirits. So why the spirit is there? There are 3, 4 reasons. They may or may not be spirit. I can sit here and douse for a place in New York and tell you in which direction the spirit is. I can send the yantram. Somebody puts that yantram. The spirit is nullified. The bad effect of spirit will not remain. Now, what is the spirit and what is the reason for it? Reason is burying of the dead. As soon as a body is buried, till 500,000, 2,000 years, that body's soul will be stuck there. So it will be roving around. So nobody should stay near a graveyard or a mazar in India. Mazar is a dead body, right? So we used to say don't stay near graveyards. I should say don't even stay near a big hospital, because a big hospital has a morgue, which every day or every second day there might be 4 bodies. So those spirits will be there till the body is there. Okay, and the spirit keeps changing because the body keeps changing. Now, this is one reason. Or second reason is deep down some body is buried, long lost war, kind of like Jodbag in Delhi is full of spirits. Okay, so because there is a Karbala, people have lots of bodies are there. Or Panipat, there is lots of spirits because there were big wars there, hundreds of people died there. Or say in Calcutta, Park Street, most premium area. In fact, today I was working in Park Street. It is the most premium area in Calcutta, much sought after, but it has got lots of spirit because Fort William is near. In the olden days, the war used to take place. Somebody is to die and is to die there. Who knows where? Who is buried where? So it is not how good the area looks. Some products are packaged well. Say they look good from outside. The chocolate might look good from outside. As soon as you bite it, you'll find it's a rubbish thing. So don't go by the packaging. You have to go by the intrinsic value of that Vastu. Suppose you're buying a land, just don't buy arbitrarily. Just send the drawing or see it in you can compare it with mine and find out the shape is good or what else is good or what else is bad. Is it near a graveyard? So these are things we should see. Okay. Now, suppose graveyard is a bad thing. Temple is a good thing. Temple is a good thing. Hindus say don't live where the shadow of the temple falls. माने within the area where the shadow of the temple falls. उसका कारण क्या है? See, every place area has got a limited amount of prana. Now the temple is designed to draw the prana faster than the rest because it has got pyramidal structures which draw the prana faster. So what happens is if you're living next to a temple, the prana is already being absorbed by the temple, so there will be a little bit of deficiency nearby. So the people next to the temple, are getting less prana in their houses. In olden days, the temple used to have a big, huge compound, so nothing used to spill over. Nowadays, a man builds his house next to the temple because the land is valuable. So actually, there is less prana in that house because the temple is absorbing the prana. So it is leaving you. It's just like more water being drawn in a ferule next door. So you've got a half-inch pipe and he's got a 2-inch pipe. He's got a pump fitted. So you आपका half-inch का pipe का tank fill नहीं होगा underground tank. It's like that. So even temple, living next to a temple is also not good. You can hear the bell of the temple, it is good. You can go to the temple, absorb the energy. Temple is designed to give you more positive energy. Okay, so we should not build houses right next to the temple. It should be a bit far off, not right next to the graveyard. No matter how premium it is, it's not good for us. Our relationship will get spoiled. I should say unexplicable things will happen. Unexplicable things. So you will not know what you hit you. You can fight an enemy whom you can see. You can't fight an enemy whom you can't see. So we should avoid certain things, and we should sort of uh, sorry. So we should avoid certain places also. Okay. Now, what is there? There is nothing called perfect Vastu. Okay. It is a balance between what is your Panchabhutas are placed within your house as well as how much energy that house is generating. That means sometimes it's a perfect Vastu, but you're getting all wrong results because there is geopathic stress or because there is spirit. So when there is a spirit, even with perfect Vastu or with perfect everything else, you will not get. Also, if a spirit is there, it will generate suicidal tendencies and bad relation among brother-like persons. Brother might be brother, he might be partner, or he might be somebody cousin like that. So for no reason there will be bad relations. Some small incident will take place, and that will go to epic proportions. So you will be worried, you will not even know why that happened. You might regret saying that word later on, but at that point of time, that spirit will make you say that word. Or say, the very typical example, suppose somebody's wife call you, where are you? In Bombay. Arey bhai, Mahim mein hai. Ho gaya kaam. But when the spirit is there, it will make you say, तुमसे मतलब. The reply will be, अरे हम 20 साल से शादी कर चुके, हम तुमसे मतलब कैसे बोल दिए. Now that is an involuntary thing which happens, and that involuntary thing happens due to the spirit, sort of making your life miserable. So you sort of leave that place and go. Now it might sound a bit far-fetched, but I have seen, I have predicted. In fact, 4 days back, I went to Howrah in one place. I had told there's one spirit here. Why it is there? So I said, नहीं कोई इधर कोई welding का काम कर रहा था. He got electrocuted. So he got electrocuted. So the spirit is existing there. It will exist for the next 400 years. So what happened? This I had done maybe 6 years back. I had done that work. About 4 days back, I had gone there. तो सर राव साहब थोड़ा इधर चलिए तो देखिए तो. सो ऐसे दिस प्लेस इज हाईली नेगेटिव. बोले क्या हुआ? बोला इधर एक तो लड़का सुसाइड किया, 22 साल का लड़का. वो ही जंप्ड फ्रॉम द सॉर्ट ऑफ टेरेस एंड नोबडी नोज द रीजन. आई सेड यहाँ स्पिरिट है, आई नो द रीजन. अनलेस नाउ यू गॉट 2 स्पिरिट्स. पहले एक था, अब ये दूसरा वाला आ गया. अब इसको भी आपको ब्लॉक करना पड़ेगा, whether you like it or not, because it causes unnecessary problems. Also, another glaring example of a spirit. I had gone to see a flat in Calcutta near my house, and he took me to the promoters. So I talked to him, ye hai, ye kharab hai, ye kharab hai. So he said, can you see and tell me what is wrong? I said, I can tell you a lot of things. So he said, you see this place. So I saw this place. He showed me a drawing. I said, there is a spirit here. So he said, can you show me where the spirit is? So I said, yes, my instrument, this instrument, it can show me. And on the drawing itself, I told him with the pendulum that it is in this room. They said, come. So he took me to that house. That was the house which he was trying to build for himself. There are four brothers, so they were building. So each brother will have one floor. But it never happened. For 6 years, that building was lying idle with the frame, nothing done. So I took him. So he took me. I said, you see this place, what happened here? You know, one of my guys who came to do the channels for the electricity, you know, they break the wall and insert these pipes for the electrical wires. He committed suicide here. I said, now this place is owned by him. Unless you remove that, you will remove. Can you do it? I said, I'll put my instruments. After that, in 1 year, your building will be here. You will do Greva Praharsh. So I put all my instruments, and then he started building and all that. Greva Praharsh mein khila diya. And then suddenly I said, you know, after you occupy the building, you should call me once more. He said, why? He sort of ignored that fact. I said, an empty building correction, and after you put in all the material, it's like, you know, you have a machine building something, you made the shell. Now I have corrected the shell. Now, if you, after putting all your machines, you know, your gearboxes, things, and it becomes a full robot, right? Now, after the full robot, the character of the robot changes. Previously, it was just a shell. Now it is a full robot. Now there might be some problem in that full robot. So we'll put some one or two more instruments to correct, to compensate for the mistakes of that place. He didn't call me. Then one day he said, you know, my brother is feeling scared. He gets up in the morning, he gets in a nail and marks scratches, or in the lift he feels scared, something catches him. So I said, okay, I told you, why didn't you call me? No, no, please come and do it. So I went and did it. And that man, every time he sees me, you know, I'm thankful to you. All we four brothers could stay together. Previously, each used to stay in a different place. We never managed to. That house was lying for 8 years, or 6 to 8 years in unfinished condition. Ah. So I did nothing. Neither did I break a wall, nor did I anything. I just inserted some small 7-8 inch rods and some yantras which are hardly like geometry boxes, chota chota. So this is the energy, prana, which we cannot see, but it matters so much in our life. Okay. And one very standard question I get asked very regularly, Mr. Rao, where should the bathroom be as per Vastu? So I tell them, you know, as per Vastu, which was done 4,000 years ago, bathroom is with a lota outside your house. You know, it is not within the precincts of the house. तब कैसे होगा? हम बोले तब कैसे होगा? वैसे ही होगा, घर में रहिए, सुलभ में जाइए. नहीं नहीं राव साहब, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता. Then we say we will nullify the bad effect by doing something. See, previously, when we used to go out, the whole village used to go out from one bad place. So the shit used to be there, and in 4 days of sunlight, it used to become manure. Manure. But if you keep it wet for 5 years also, it will keep generating bad gas, toxic gases. So we don't consider that. We think it is a convenience. It's very good for us. And when we used to come back, we used to take a bath and then enter the house. So those were the good things. The whole village had one bad place. Now each house has 3 bad places, or at least 2, if not 1. If it's a 1 room apartment. So ये जो बाथरूम का चक्कर है, हम लोग, we think it's too simplistic, but it can ruin your life. A wrong bathroom at a wrong place can ruin your life. Okay, say southwest bathroom, it might make somebody drink like anything, or northeast bathroom, mishap children, handicapped children. Okay, or fight between brothers. Very peculiarly, in Bangalore, once I was sitting in an office, and one guy was, you know, sitting and biting his nails. Old man, say about 45. So I said, where do you stay, Mr. So and so? He says, I stay in Bangalore. I said, you'll have a northeast toilet. So he told me, tell me how the northeast is, where it is. So I told him, if you look at the sun state on the left hand, you know, left hand is your north, at 45 degrees to that is your northeast. So he closed his eyes. I said, no, Mr. Rao, it is not there. I said, where do you come from? You don't belong to Bangalore. He said, I belong to Himachal Pradesh. I said, you close your eyes and see where in Himachal your, you know, house, toilet is. And he closed his eyes and said, yes, it's exactly in the northeast. I said, then your relationship with your brother will not be good. You know what he said? I'm not even in talking terms with him for the last 15 years. Now, the cause is the bathroom. Blood brothers, and it is involuntary. They don't even know that is the cause. You understand? They find out some cause. It might be some minor cause. मैंने 10,000 दिए उसे वापस नहीं दिए. It is not that cause. The cause is the basic premise is the toilet is the wrong place in his parental home. So it causes so much problem, and so much problem enough, so he'll have no support from his brother. He has to go to here and there for other any sudden problem he has to hunt for people to help him out. So I should say some small things when we don't buy. Also nowadays I see, previously I used to go to Hyderabad, they make perfect vastu flats, Nowadays what happens is, after the Agni Kond in the southeast, they put one wash area. It's known as the utility. What they do, they wash their burtan there. They put a washing machine there. So what is happening? The last mile is not Agni. The last mile in place of Agni is water. So those daughters are suffering. Daughter is having divorce and coming back. Or a daughter is not getting married at all. She's 40 years, not getting married. I said southeast. What is there in the southeast? Water is there. So this is these problems which are so difficult to even envisage. For me, it's like elementary. It is not because I have some specific knowledge. You guys are engineers, you have some specific knowledge, right? So I have some specific knowledge, so I will know more. It is not that I am some kind of a guy from outer planet. I know this, that. Give this to you. Kuch nahi hai. Nothing. I'm a simple man, but it is some specific knowledge, and as you keep sharpening the knife, it gets sharper. So every day उसमें धार लगाते हैं तो कुछ तो extra होगा, and the blessings we get from so many people, they add up. Just like a curse carries for 3 generations, the blessing also carries for 3 generations. So when I get blessings, my son is blessed, maybe his next generation will also be blessed. So this holistic approach, nowadays we think that this is the last money I'm going to see. पहले इसको ले लो. But if you have the patience, if you have a more giving, the more you give, the more you will get. This principle, not explicable, not to scientific and logical guys. They think, no, boss, ये तो कुछ गलत बोल रहा है. हाँ, पैसे के पीछे भागो तो पैसा मिलेगा. हम लोग पैसे के पीछे मत भागो. मैं, I started my life taking 1 rupee 4 annas. 1 rupee 4 annas, and he used to keep that 4 annas for me. सेशु तेरे लिए चवन्नी रख दिया है, तू मेरा वास्तु कर दे. तो मैं 1 रुपया 1.25 रुपया में आदमी का जिंदगी बदलता था. हाँ, बदला भी. किसके बच्चे नहीं हुए, बच्चे हो गए, किसका क्या होना था नहीं हुआ. एक तो बहुत बड़ा प्रमोटर है, उसका आफ्टर आई डिड हिज जॉब, I say within 1 month of doing his job, he had a benefit of 80 crores. But he did me one favor. For 3 years, he paid me a remuneration of 6 lakhs per annum. Whether I go, I don't go, whether he shows me anything, doesn't show me anything. So he was at least, whatever he gained in interest of 80 crores, he paid me 18 lakhs for 3 years. He gave me some breathing space to become a Vastukar. Otherwise, I would have been still, either making transformers or control panels or some system or something, So that changed my life radically. Now, I travel a charmed life, travel on other people's money, get money to do what I love to do. Previously I used to hate it, अरे कल डिलीवरी देना यार, फिर सवेरे उठ के भागो, इसको देना, फिर उसको सब दे दिए इतना कष्ट करके, फिर पैसे के लिए वो झुला देगा आपको. He will not pay you your own money which you given him. He will make you run around like nobody's business. So it is very, very peculiar. Very, very peculiar. So I think if you
So can we have some questions, sir? Because
sure.
I think there are a lot of people who
Monologue.
have questions.
I had a monologue of almost about 40 odd minutes. I don't know whether I could talk for 40 minutes without getting interrupted. Tell me, yeah. Please tell me. Any questions, please? Yes.
There may be many questions, but I'll start with this thing. Since you have traveled abroad, these Vastu logics will it hold good for countries above equator and below equator? Same logic?
Yes,
That is the first question.
it does. Yes. Only the stress levels, I'll tell you. The stress levels in Calcutta is say I've got a figure of 22. In Rudrapur it is 60. In Hyderabad it is 42. In Delhi it is different. You know, the higher stress level places are more, I should say, prosperous. Dubai is more than 80. You know, the stress level, very high stress, very high stress. Then America is also quite high stress. We worked in America, the results have come in America. I'll tell you an American example. One girl, you know, she came, her daughter of 3 years, she was could not talk. उसका गला का स्वर नहीं निकलता था, you know. So her mother knew me from Orissa, so you know she contacted that girl and that girl contacted me. So, and she was not very happy also in that house. So I said, you know, after I saw the place, and since her throat was being affected of the child, I said, you have a northeast toilet. She's an engineer. So I said, how to know where the, I said, you take a compass app, stand in the middle of the building and see towards the left, top left hand corner, you will have your toilet. He said, yes, uncle, I have that toilet. So this girl, her daughter, she's all right. She goes to school for 3 years. She could not talk. Gala ka swar nahi. So what I did is we corrected that. We changed that. And I said, leave that house. He said, no, I'm already booked for so many months. If I leave it in the middle, I'll have to pay so much fine also. And dollars, it works out a lot. So I sent the correction material and did it. So after doing it, she sort of, that girl started talking a bit. And then I said, try to make her tell Om, and she used to do it. And she's doing, and I also told her, your daughter will be biting her nails. Well, she doesn't keep any nails. It's so small it becomes. So it is just a diagnosis, remote diagnosis. And after that, the girl started talking. And then after a few days, she found a good job. She went off to Canada and she's doing very well there. And the child speaks. Not as fluently because it will take some time. For 3 years, she didn't speak. So these are the type of corrections. It works even remotely. I correct American this one. My own friend, she was not getting a green card for so many years, 12 years. So she had a cut northeast. Northeast katawa means bhagya katawa. So what we do, we made her dig a, you know, they had a lawn. So we made that dig this one in the lawn and put this, you know, copper inside it by extending that periphery of that building. So the northeast cut is nullified plus extending it. What green card she did not get in 12 years, she got it in, I said, you will get it within 45 days. She got it in 30 days. So this has got a physical manifestation कि जो luck जो कटा हुआ था वो luck उसको मिल गया. She got her green card. After that she came to India. She stayed back. Lots of we all enjoyed. She said तू नहीं भेजता तो नहीं होता. It's a very peculiar vidya, you know, very peculiar niche vidya hai.
Sir, I have a second question.
Tell
In
me.
the industries, when you are purchasing open lands,
Yes.
right? Suppose say it is a 10 acre or 20 acres land.
Yes.
You start the northeast entrance,
Yes.
right? Or north or east.
Whatever.
And we have a borewell in northeast.
Good.
And water tank in southwest.
Good.
So we have to travel all along entire field. We have to travel the water pipeline.
Okay.
Is it a practical one, sir?
See, I'll tell you. Since I am a sort of a semi-engineer, whatever I know by engineering like the back of my hand. See, your basic borewell can be there, right?
Okay.
You did not travel. That borewell can water the fields there. Okay. You can have a second borewell in the northeast of your factory, which is adjacent to your factory. You can have a northeast borewell. Okay. So if you send me the drawing, I can correct it on the drawing. Also, if you send me the drawing and the address, I can tell you that if the spirit is there or not. If the spirit is there, there will be a lot of impediments. Okay. A lot of impediments which you cannot. अरे वो म्यूनिसिपल का परमिशन नहीं है, वो झुला दिया, वो घूस भी ले रहा है, पैसा भी ले रहा है, लेकिन आपको दे नहीं रहा है, ऐसा ऐसा रुक जाएगा. या while making, this happened with one guy. It's a record time he relocated his factory from in Faridabad. You know, in 4 months' time, his building is up, his factory is relocated. They make the jacks and toolkits for Maruti. Okay.
Okay.
They do a lot of. They about 350. He is people work for it. But he had a small factory because he's an electronics engineer who makes form fill seal machines, FFS.
Okay.
आपका जो ये होता है ना इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कंट्रोल्स है, where the weight is judged and the packet is filled.
Yeah.
It's also what they. So he makes that factory he shifted. He
Okay.
bought the plot. I did corrected the plot. I said, after I correct this plot, your building will come up fast. Once the building started coming up, I said, you might get the next plot. He got it. He bought the next plot. करते करते उसको 4 floors. He did so fast, unimaginable time, and he relocated. Once it got stopped suddenly, and I was there. Said, uncle, मेरा सारा काम रुक गया. बोला क्यों क्या हुआ? चलो site पे. So I went to the site. So, I saw that there's one structure which looks out of place. I said, in northeast में ये क्या है? ये तो लगता है टॉयलेट है. हाँ सर टॉयलेट है ये तो. I called that fellow. I said, ये कौन टॉयलेट इधर लगाने बोला तुमको? तो सारा काम रुक गया इनका. बोला सर इधर ही ड्रेन था. हम बोले भैया तुमको सस्ता में पॉइजन मिल रहा है, तुम खा लोगे? हाँ, इसको अभी बंद करो. स्टॉप इट नाउ. वो बाद में करते रहना, उसको सुलभ में जाने दो. यू मेक इट बिहाइंड इन योर नॉर्थ ईस्ट. उसने नॉर्थ ईस्ट में तो टॉयलेट कर दिया और सारे वर्कर उधर कर दिए. उसके काम पूरी रुक गए. अच्छा उसके ऑर्डर आने बंद हो गए. तो in the existing factory also he has to get orders, no? So
That's it.
we just move that toilet, threw it out, everything back to square one. टक 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 खड़े हो गए. हाँ उसको कभी भी प्रॉब्लम होता है, बोलता अंकल ये है. हम बोला देख उधर क्या है मैन. वो उधर देख बोलते ये है. बोले इसको निकाल. सर वो पेंट शॉप का उधर करने लगा नॉर्थ ईस्ट में. उसको हटाओ उससे. इट्स लाइक दैट. What happens is, if I tell you what not to do, you will suffer less. You
Okay.
don't know, you involuntarily में तुम्हारे जंक निकल रहा है, समझे ना? Your sheet metal waste, if you put it in the northeast, your factory with all that modern controls will be stopped for no reason. तो क्या हो रहा है किसी को नहीं पता होगा, समझे ना?
That's
So you have to be very careful of your northeast. If
That's
anything,
it. So one more point. Now with us, Mr. Param sir is there.
yes,
He is from ISRO and he has been a program director. He has been into all the positions in ISRO. Param sir, are you there?
oh wow.
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Right.
Yeah, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste sir. Namaste. Arey, you're all great people. I am a small
Sir, sir, I'd like to ask you, sir, Param sir, that when you are working on missile launches and other things, right? You are suddenly loading few hundred tons of load in one particular area. So how do you look at it? Do you do any such rituals, or do you assess even the timings of launch, or do you do any such things, sir?
Uh, Sir, it is, see, those who believe science and as well as this, whatever the subject matter Dr. Rao has mentioned. Okay, so it's all in our personal belief, sir. See, if we scientifically, if you are handling it, and the main thing is the safety. Safety part of it, whatever it comes, is that then the personal belief. If you are true to yourself and then take the whatever the precautions that what you have. Okay, some people will say that all these beliefs will stop at your house, and some people will carry it to the work spot. So you have to have those. See, as long as you do not uh, antagonize the people with that some kind of a belief and give preference to the scientific fact, and because science is nothing but it is derived from all these kind of practices. If you take care of that, and I don't think that no we had any kind of this kind of a problem. Main thing is the handling of the explosives. So that is the one which is no the anyway definitely adequate precautions were taken, and that is the kind of thing that what it. Whereas the people are concerned that their sitting places and then their work spots and all those things are concerned. It is all taken with whatever the nominal principles that what has been dictated by our own age old practices.
Okay.
And especially that it is as I understand Vastu is the question of airflow and the light. light and air. How do you manage these two?
Yes.
So scientifically, if you handle, and with all the age-old wisdom, and I think that we were better off. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Sir, I believe, I'll tell you all, I don't know. I believe Vastu is equivalent to the price of salt. Salt, how much part of it is in our cooking. It is such a minuscule part, but it makes such a vast difference. No salt, you can't eat it. Less salt, you don't like it. Extra salt, you don't like it. It's just a balance. That's what I try to put it in equilibrium. I tell people, अरे यार तेरे साइड में जितने रुपए का टाइल तोड़ते हैं ना, टाइल, the what you break, उससे कम में हमारा वास्तु हो जाएगा. And हम तुम्हारा कुछ तोड़ नहीं रहा है. I am trying to make your flow level faster. नॉर्थ ईस्ट को क्लीन रखेगा, उधर पानी रखेगा, योर बिल्डिंग विल कम अप फास्टर, योर जॉब विल बी स्मूदर. दैट्स ऑल. We tell them, sir, one very SKF company was there, bearing, they make bearings in Bangalore.
Yeah.
And they made a huge new factory. And once they made, one guy came and said, you got the gate at the wrong place. And SKF stock started piling up. They never had stock. It was बनने के पहले booked है.
Yes.
So the Germans got shocked. He said, what? Vastu. Then once their stock started piling up, so Vastu ko baap maan liya. He said, call that guy. He said, you, instead of this gate, you use this gate. He opened that gate and back to square one. SKF was SKF. And I know somebody used to work, used to be a top engineer in that SKF. Well, this has happened in front of me, so I know what this is. I said, boss, we all know, because it is in our blood, it is in our genes. But we feel, oh, science doesn't approve of it. Science ने उसमें stamp नहीं मारा, उसीलिए हम नहीं मानेंगे. You understand?
Yes.
I don't mind. I have an atheist who stays next to my house. Okay, atheist. He's now 65. At age 57, one day he never go to Kalighat temple, which is only 1 kilometer away. Only 1 kilometer away. Okay.
Yes.
So one day he came and said, suppose I pray to Lord Venkateswara, shall I get 1 crore order? I said, boss, you can pray and see. So he prayed. I said, I will give 1 lakh if I get 1 crore order. Okay. We were 4 of us. So I said, fine, you do it. Then he told us, okay, from today, if I get 1 crore, I will give 1 lakh. So exactly within 15 days, he got the order. Okay. Then he told, now suppose I don't give. I said, Lord will not come and ask you, give me my 1 lakh, right? But even smugglers who used to get 100 biscuits, they used to put 3 biscuits in a yellow this one cloth and put it in the hundi. Yes. Even smugglers used to believe. And you are a normal guy. Well, no, I'm just joking. So we'll all go together. So he took us to Tirupati. All 4 of us went to Tirupati and he put his 1 lakh. And then after that, he became a believer. Fine. He goes to Lord Venkateswara, comes back. Then one day he says, he's a truthful guy. He comes and says, oh, this time I didn't get the darshan because my flight ticket was approaching. I had to come back. I didn't get darshan. He's a truthful guy. Twice he didn't get darshan, but 6-7 times he got darshan. Then he analyzed. He's a top class computer engineer, all that. So he told me that every time I wanted to go only to the temple, I got darshan. But suppose I went to Shiva Pilla's marriage, from there I went, I did not get darshan. Suppose I'm going to Hyderabad and then I went, I didn't get darshan. When my focus was to go to darshan, I got darshan. So this analytical mind, and in spite of being a Nastic for 57 years, now he's a total convert. And I say, why don't you come with me to Kalighat? He said, no, she's not my deity. My deity is not Venkateswara. So this is a very peculiar thing. Belief, when it germinates, nobody knows. But if it happens, it's all for the good. Only when the time comes, the event also happens. Very peculiar. And today, actually, he lost his wife. And now this bhajan and this, belief is what keeps him going. If he didn't have this belief, he would have been a lonely man and frustrated and always worrying about why it happened to me. You understand? Now he gets his vastu. He got his control room done by me. He said, "यहाँ पे हमेशा हमारा this one खराब हो रहा है. His computers used to fail. So I put one geopathic stress nullifier. Now his computers start failing. Stop failing. बोला no 6 months हो गया अभी तो कुछ नहीं है, it's worked. Otherwise every third day it used to crash, he used to go and get it. It's the same computer, it's the same place, nothing changed.
Yeah. This being very interesting talk, sir.
Nice.
A lot of life experiences what you have shared so far. I think there must be a lot of questions in everyone's mind since we conduct these sessions on time-bound basis.
Okay.
We'll stop here. But anyone is having further more questions, they can always contact us. We'll
The
share it
WhatsApp and
across.
whatever I can answer. I
Yes,
can
yes,
work on a
definitely.
drawing. He can
Yes,
send me
yes.
a WhatsApp. Shall I buy this house? Yes or no, I can tell. Or if he's already bought the house, I can say, do this, it will be good for you. That I can help. That counseling I can. No issues at all, no issues.
Okay,
Okay?
right, sir.
Right.
And for the that convenience, I'm just sharing your number in the chat box
No
so that
problem.
everyone can note it down. And for any personal consultation, they can always contact sir.
Yeah, no
So,
problem. No
sir,
problem.
thank you so
It
much
was
for
interesting. It was
it
interesting
was
talking to
interesting.
so many great people all together. And yeah,
No,
of
no.
course, my field is different. That's a separate issue.
Right, right. In fact, it was more interesting for us, something different from our regular technical discussions
Ah,
on
technical
subjects. Yeah.
discussion only. What pick is not getting programmed properly? What is the problem there?
Yeah. So, sir, on the behalf of entire Janyutech team and management, I thank you for accepting our invitation and part of this Saturday Rock session. We look forward to have you again sometime in future with some
God
different
willing, I'll
angle
be in
things.
Bombay sometimes. I'll visit you all, no
So
problem.
most welcome, sir. Most welcome. You can come
This
down.
time round, I missed you. I missed you by the whisker, but I'll meet you sometime.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so
Right.
much, and we also thank our advisor Srinivas Sarvapalli for
Srinivas sir,
connecting
yes,
us.
yes,
Yes,
same here.
connecting
He's
to.
very close to me. He's a
Yes,
nice
sir.
man. He's gentleman,
Right.
gentleman, very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Right, sir.
Thank you so
Right.
much. We
Bye.
can close the call. Thank you, everyone,
Bye.
for joining.
Bye.
We'll see you on next
Bye.
Saturday.
Bye
Bye.
next Saturday. Bye.